Let me start by giving you just a real quick overview of what we're talking about at the various public meetings when the board gets together to talk budget considerations. And there's generally some degree of confusion regarding the various funds that we have and how to set them up on the overhead projector. Generally speaking, whenever we talk about the board work sessions, we are talking about the general fund. The general fund is what funds the predominance of instruction for all of our schools throughout Missoula. Now, you'll hear us talk from time to time about various other funds. You've heard us talk probably about the transportation fund, which is where we pay for the busing for all the students in Missoula. And I know I've heard a number of comments about when you're looking at cost cutting in the budget, why are we paying for students to be transported 5 or 6 miles away from the school district? And we try to make people aware of the fact that these funds are all auxiliary funds to the general fund. They certainly would not exist without the general fund. The general fund is the heart and soul of school funding, but those funds are separate funds. They have their own separate budgets, and in the state of Montana, you cannot commingle these. You can't take money that might be left over from transportation and put into the general fund, nor can you take general fund dollars and put it into the transportation fund. They have to be maintained separately. We have a tuition fund. If by chance we have students in Missoula that need to go to another district because of special needs, we pay for it out of the tuition fund. That's levied on the local taxpayer. We have a retirement fund. The retirement fund pays for the retirement for all of our employees, both certified, which are the teachers, and non-certified, and also pays for things such as Social Security tax and unemployment. Again, a separate fund that you cannot commingle with the general fund. We have an adult education fund. I'm sure you've heard of the Willard Learning Center. They carry on a very extensive adult education program. They do it with their own separate fund, again, that cannot be commingled with general fund. Debt service fund. Debt service fund is what's paying for the South Hill School, Chief Charlo. Is also paying for the addition to Porter, as well as a fund at the high school level to pay for the Big Sky High School when it was built in '81, as well as the Hillgate addition. Again, cannot be commingled with the general fund. Then we have a building reserve fund, or we used to have. You may recall that the elementary district tried to pass the building reserve a year ago. A couple of times it was turned down by the voters, so currently the elementary district does not have a building reserve. Now, typically a building reserve is used for major remodeling type things. Roof repair, for example, on an elementary district building. Does not exist currently. So any repairs of that nature, major remodeling that we do currently, has to be taken out of the general fund. There just are no monies currently here. That's a voted levy, by the way. These are all what we call budgeted funds, meaning that you have to establish a budget for them and you cannot exceed that budget. They're all, generally speaking, supported by local tax dollars. Generally speaking. Now, there is some state monies in our transportation fund, but generally speaking, they're local monies. Then we have a host of funds over here. I'm not going to speak to those individually, but just to show you that we have quite a number of funds that you deal with within school accounting. Warehouse fund, just as an example, is where all the teachers at Meadow Hill would requisition their teaching supplies, paper, pencils, whatever they need for the classroom instruction. Okay, I'm going to be primarily talking about the general fund tonight, just briefly, and then to let you know again that all of the deliberations that you hear the Board of Trustees going through and that the Missoulian is reporting is in regards to the general fund. Let me just quickly show you where we are with the elementary budget and how the state of Montana requires that you set up your funding structure. And I'm not going to provide a lot of detail on this, but typically this is your general fund for all school districts throughout Montana. 40% of that general fund is paid by the state of Montana. Another 40% of that fund is paid by guaranteed tax base. And you're aware, I'm sure, that the state of Montana has passed a law that says that every student in Montana is entitled to an equal education. So the idea eventually is to squeeze every school district in Montana between an 80% level of budget and 100%. If you're in this category, you're what the state calls an equalized school district. They do that by taking money away from the richer districts, those districts that have a higher property valuation than the lower affluent districts. So the poorer districts, and believe it or not, Missoula is a poorer district, we do receive guaranteed tax-based monies, both at the high school level and the elementary level, to equalize the educational opportunity that our students would have in relationship to the rest of Montana. Then this is the level that typically a local voted levy would come into. Let me just show you what's happened again at the elementary level. For the 95-96 school year, this is the elementary general fund budget. It's $22,127,498. What happens to us next year? Because throughout the elementary district for next year, we're going to have a decline of about 122 students. The state of Montana goes through a rather complex formula, totally based upon the number of students that you're going to serve in your district, to tell you what the maximum budget is that you can have. Now, I'm sure some of you have been around. A number of years ago, the state would allow you to set your budget whatever you needed to educate the students of your community, and it was generally contingent upon passing a local levy. Well, those days are gone. Now the state of Montana tells you what your budget will be. And based upon the fact that Missoula Elementary will lose 122 students next year, for 96-97, our maximum budget is $21,924,485. Now I have to throw out a little bit of a caveat here, because that budget is computed based upon two head counts. One that we do in September, which is, we know, another that we do in February, which of course at this point in time we've had to project. So this budget could fluctuate a little bit from what we're projecting. Also special education's in there, and nobody in the state of Montana at this point, excuse me, knows how much the state is going to provide for special education. All of that comes into play in computing what your maximum budget would be. But our best projections at this point in time tell us that the maximum general fund budget for next year will be at this level. In other words, we're going to have to cut the general fund budget $202,000. Now that doesn't sound too bad in terms of a $21 million budget, but there's another factor that will enter into that picture. I'll show you that in just a moment. Based upon what we believe the enrollment will be for 97-98, the elementary district will take another reduction of about $81,000. So over the 2 years, we're right at a $300,000 reduction because of declining enrollment. Now you've probably heard, and I know the Missoulian has reported, that we will not be going out for a voted levy this year. And typically what happens in Montana is if you're able to increase your budget like Missoula High School will be able to do, Missoula County Public High School Division, if you can increase that budget, then you do need to go out to the public for a vote. And the high school will be doing that this spring because they have increased enrollment. With the elementary decline, there'll be no vote. And so the budget for this upcoming year, 96-97, will be funded, the portion of the local level will be funded with a permissive levy. That's property taxes, but not requiring a vote. Well, I want to give you an idea of where we were in terms of the budget reduction. Let me show you the other part of that picture, because that's not all of the reduction. Let me show you here. I mentioned that for 96-97 we have a $202,653 reduction. Now in addition to that, we have contracts that have been negotiated with employee bargaining groups. Those contracts have been settled. And we know that for next year, we have an increase in salary and benefits costs of about $651,000. It's actually $651,443. When you total those two figures together, it's $854,000 $1,250,096. And this is the number that you've seen in the paper and we've been talking about with the board. That's the number that we'll be reducing for next year. The amount the budget's going down and the amount that we know salary and benefits is going up. This next overhead shows the composition of the budget as it exists right now in the elementary district. The blue area indicates salary and benefits, and you can see that salary and benefits comprise 86.1% of our budget. Salary and benefits includes things such as salaries, health insurance, and workman's compensation. Those are the only things that are in our salary and benefits line items. 86.1%. Then the green area is fixed cost. That would be our utilities. And then also the board has directed that administration put the operation and maintenance budget in an area that we call non-discretionary, fixed in O&M. Now, O&M are the budgets that maintain the buildings. 6.17% of our total general fund budget. The remaining, the red part of the pie chart up here, the remaining portion are those dollars that go to support the actual classroom and all parts of the elementary district. This is where we pay for paper, in-service for teachers, travel, equipment, technology, all of those areas that are not salary and benefits and fixed. And that comprises approximately 7.73% of our budget. One of the suggestions that the board and the community has recommended to us is that as we look at budget cuts for next year, that we look at doing an across-the-board cut, an equal percentage for each one of those three pieces of that pie. That was one of the options. There are a number of options that we're looking at. That's not the only option. Let me just give you an idea that if we did do that, now this represents that blue portion of the pie that was salary and benefits. And if we do an across-the-board cut, now here's what salary and benefits would be for 95, 96. If we do an across-the-board cut, which would be about 3.9% for next year, you can see that the salary and benefits, it might be a little bit hard to see, but they're going to decrease just slightly in terms of percentage of the overall budget. It's going to increase slightly in terms of overall dollars. So, and this is in dollars. So this particular bar chart here will be a little bit shorter than this. This is a slight increase. If we do an across-the-board increase for 97, 98, you still get a slight increase. The following year, if we do not cut salary and benefits means people. That's the only way to describe it. If we do not cut salary and benefits in 98, 99, well, what you have is salary and benefits increasing. And why do we have salary and benefits increasing? Let me just show you quickly. Of this 651,000 here, which is increased salary and benefits cost for next year, 343,000 of that approximately are for what we call steps and lanes, costs that we don't negotiate. They are ongoing costs that you incur regardless of what happens to the budget. So our budget's going to increase each year. Each one of those blue bar charts or bars are going to increase 343,000 just because it's an automatic step and lane increase. So what happens if we don't reduce personnel as we go through these years? You'll see salary and benefits slowly starting to creep up in terms of dollars. Now when that happens, what happens to the other two areas of your budget? Remember, the green portion of the budget was for operation and maintenance and fixed charges. The board has indicated that they would like to try and maintain operation and maintenance and fixed charges as closely as they could to the current level of the budget. But if we do across-the-board cut for 96, 97, that means that every area takes a cut. O&M and fixed charges would take a cut, and they would show a slight decrease. Now, for sake of illustration, and assuming that we'll be able to hold the percentages of O&M and fixed charges somewhat constant, I've held these constant for these remaining years. So we're not anticipating taking further cuts out of O&M. We're very much concerned if that should happen, that you're going to see degradation of the various buildings throughout the district. Well, there's one area of the budget left. That's discretionary, and that's where the teaching supplies, the field trips, the equipment, and all the remaining items of the budget are housed. Again, I'm talking about across-the-board cuts. If we take an across-the-board cut, you can see that from 95, 96, the discretionary dollars, the instructional materials dollars, will show a decrease for 96, 97. Now, because of that $343,000 increase that's going to go on for each year, steps and lanes automatic, that's got to come out of someplace. And recall, I held the fixed part of the budget constant, so we didn't take away from the buildings. So here's where it comes out of. If we're unable to cut salary and benefits, and I hope you don't think that I'm on my pedestal up here spouting cutting salary and benefits, but there's only 3 areas of the budget, and if we don't cut buildings, there's only one other place to go. Here's your discretionary monies, and what could happen to us is by the year 99, 2000, that's not very far away, 4 years, you could be almost out of discretionary dollars, and by 2000, 2001, you do not have any dollars for discretionary uses. Field trips are gone, supplies are gone, all of it's gone. That's if the board would select an across-the-board scenario for budget cutting. And at this point in time, we don't know that they're going to do that. So what would the pie chart look like if that was the scenario that we followed? Well, we still have the pie. We're just missing a color. Salary and benefits would have grown during that period of time to 93.75%. Our fixed would be relatively the same, but there is no discretionary dollar. And that's what the board and administration is wrestling with right now, how to strike a balance so that we keep all 3 components of that budget. So, and you're going to see a lot of teeth gnashing. You've already seen a lot of teeth gnashing. Nobody wants to cut salaries and benefits. Nobody wants to cut teachers or staff or anything. And on the other hand, we don't want to cut computers and technology and those kinds of things. And in some areas we cannot cut, like our insurance costs and audit costs and election costs and those kinds of things, those fixed costs. Let me take you now into a variety of things that the board has been looking at for cut considerations. I would like to emphasize that at this point in time, the board has not made decisions on cuts with one exception, and let me just explain to you what that is. You may have heard talk of a potential retirement incentive. We have quite a number of teachers, both at the elementary level and at the secondary level, that have got 25 plus years in with the teacher's retirement system. So what we're attempting to do this year is offer a retirement incentive to see if some of those folks might be interested in retiring. And typically what you may end up doing is a $43,000 teacher would retire and you would rehire a teacher that would make somewhat less. Entry-level teacher for the school district now is only a little bit over $22,000, I believe. Tom, you recall the number? I think it's right in a little over $22,000. So conceivably, you could save the difference between $43,000 and the $22,000. If we were able to do that, if we got 20 teachers to retire at the elementary level, and we were anticipating that we would be able to not rehire 13.95 of those teachers. The reason we would be able to not rehire those is because of declining enrollment, and then the dirty word, we would raise class sizes to somewhat close to the accreditation standards. Again, the board is considering this option because if we don't find significant dollars out of salary and benefits, you go back to that pie and the red portion of the pie is gone. Let me just take this off. And again, I'd like to mention to you that the board has not made decisions on these, but these are the primary considerations that we've been talking about for the last several meetings. They're not in any priority order, and they're really kind of, I do have them separated into the salary and benefits, potential salary and benefits reductions, and then the fixed cost reductions if we were to do that, and then possibly the discretionary or the red portion of that pie. So let me just run down through these, and I'll try to briefly explain them, and then I'll come back and entertain whatever questions that you might have. I mentioned the retirement incentive, and we would anticipate that we could realize a savings of $500,000 out of the retirement incentive. Now that doesn't come without a cost. What we would have to do in order to get that retirement incentive is to take, the board has authorized about $400,000 out of this year's budget, 95-96, in order to offer that. But we would realize a $500,000 savings next year, and the following year you would still have a savings. I mean, that savings continues for a number of years until that lower paid teacher that you've hired catches up to the higher salary. So there would be a number of years of savings. Increased building use fees at the elementary level. There are quite a number of folks that use our buildings at no charge, quite a number of organizations that use it at a reduced charge. We would need to relook at that and come up with a new scheme for building use fees, and we anticipate that we could generate about $50,000 by doing that. We could use that then to offset a part of that budget reduction of $854,000. This whole list is aimed at getting that $854,000 that we have to balance the budget with. Then we have reduced 1.0 FTE. FTE is a full-time equivalency. That's for a classified employee, an employee that would work 8 hours per day. For a teacher, it's a teacher that would be a full-time teacher. Our print shop, we have now a print shop that serves both the elementary and high school district and produces most all of the instructional materials that teachers use in their classroom. Because of the unification of the two districts, we would be able to eliminate one of those positions at a savings of $16,000. Reduce a 0.5 custodian at Jefferson for a savings of $8,000. And this would essentially mean that we would need to shuffle some duties around. Some of the carpenters would do cleanup work after themselves as opposed to the custodian. Reduce benefits. If we were able to not rehire 13.95 FTE from the retirement incentive, then you would have less workman's comp costs and insurance costs. This is one I don't think, I really kind of hesitated putting up here because I haven't found anybody that likes this. Eliminate middle school extracurricular, but it's an option that the board needs to consider. This is the full budget for middle school extracurricular activities. That includes fine arts, athletics, as well as clubs. And I would mention to you another consideration the board has brought up, and I don't have on my list tonight, is the possibility of a participation fee for extracurricular activities. I don't know if that's going to be seriously considered or not. Reduce 1.0 FTE out of K-5, the art program, for a savings of $30,000. Reduce 2.0 FTE gifted out of the K-8 program for a savings of $30,000. Out of the middle school, reduce 4.0 FTE computer teachers and replace with technicians. Those are people that we feel perform a very valuable service in the middle schools right now. But again, we're looking to put whatever we can come up with on the list. Reduce a .5 administrator by combining the principalship for Mount Jumbo and Prescott. Some of these cuts now would go into even year number 2, because year number 2 we have a similar situation. So some of these could be considered for year number 2. But reduce 1.0 FTE because of declining enrollment. Now this would most certainly be a year number 2 cut, because the declining enrollment reduction for year 1 is already taken out of the 13.95. Attrition savings would also be a year 2 cut, anticipating that not next year but the following year we would have 2 more employees that would retire. We would rehire teachers to take their place, but they'd be rehired at a lower salary. Reduce a 1.0 FTE instructional assistant in the art program, savings of $14,000. Reduce now another teacher out of the art program for a $30,000 savings. Reduce another gifted, and by reducing this gifted, then that would mean the entire gifted program for Missoula Elementary would be gone, and it would have to be handled with classroom teachers in each of the buildings. Reduce a 0.5 FTE librarian for a school that may have less than 250 enrollment. Accreditation standards at this point in time say under 250 students, then all that's required is a 0.5 librarian. We currently have a 1.0 FTE librarian. Reduce the 2.0 FTE in the alternative learning program. For grades 6 through 8, we currently have an alternative learning program at Porter and also at Washington, and there are 2 people that teach in that. That would mean a complete elimination of the ALP program. Reduce a 0.5 administrator. Again, that would be a principal for a K-5 school that would have less than 250 enrollment. Restructure fine arts. There is a number of components to that, but essentially that would be eliminating the fine arts supervisor position and eliminating at least a 0.5 FTE of the secretarial position, eliminating a 0.5 of the custodian for the building that they're currently housed into, and that would come up to about a $45,000 savings. Now actually there would be more savings if you just eliminated those positions, but we've saved back some because somebody needs to do some coordination for fine arts and also to do some of the extra duty activities that the fine arts supervisor does currently. So that's why that is not any larger than it is. Another consideration is to close a K-5 school with less than 250 enrollment at a savings of about $160,000. The next category of fixed costs and O&M reductions. When I talked to you a little bit earlier, I talked to you about across-the-board cuts so that no area was sacred, even those fixed costs and operation and maintenance. There are 2 considerations in operation and maintenance and fixed costs. Number 1 is the board is still considering the possibility of running a building reserve this spring. Now recall I said a building reserve is a separate voted levy that you get to vote on, and it's to fund major remodeling projects. If the board decides to do that, and if it were run and if it were passed, we anticipate there could be $140,000 worth of projects that are currently funded out of the general fund that could be funded out of that, thereby realizing $140,000 savings to the general fund. Now we have no idea at this point in time if the board's going to choose to do that, and if they did choose to do that, we have no idea what the amount is that they might put up for vote. Operation and maintenance for the last number of years, at least 5 years at the elementary level, has been funded at a 50 cent per square foot basis. That's what we've determined is an adequate budget to keep the buildings in good repair, to fix leaky roofs, such as the one at Hawthorne right now that we have, and to take care of general overall cleaning and maintenance. 50 cents a square foot. Well, faced with the consequences that we are and having to reduce the budget, even that is now being put up for consideration. To reduce the 50 cents per square foot down to 40 cents per square foot at a savings of $91,000. We fully realize what happens if you do that 1 year. The next year you're not going to be able to get it back with the way the elementary budget's going. It's going down, down, down. So we're not very enthusiastic about that, because in a few years you're going to see the effect in the buildings. Then discretionary, I've just labeled it other discretionary. Again, that's classroom supplies and everything that's not in these categories, and or is considered potentially for up to $367,559. The board is looking at all of these considerations from a variety of perspectives, not the least of which is the perspective that I showed you a few moments ago, and that is to try to keep some balance in the three components of the budget, so that 4 or 5 years down the road, we don't have a segment of the budget that is gone. And it's going to be very difficult to replace. Yes? Oh, they add up to far more than $854,000, because, and I didn't add that up, because we don't know which the board's going to select. They're going to pick and choose, and I don't know which ones they're going to pick and choose, but it's a lot more than 854. And just one last point, and then I'll open this up for questions. I mentioned to you that we have $854,000 to cut the budget for next year. The following year, that's going to be $417,000. Why 417? Because of this, and then I mentioned to you the budget will reduce by $81,000. So $81,000 onto this, and you got about $417,000 for year number 2. So between the 2 years, we're looking at about almost $1.3 million in reductions.
Pretty handy gadgets. I wonder what that looks like in reverse. Wow, I wonder if... Let's see. This is great. Do you know what I saw just now, at that very instant, live and in color? Now showing in Rattlesnake Middle School. The great state of Montana, the United States of America, the continent of North America, Earth, in this solar system, somewhere on the edge of the Milky Way galaxy. I saw your life. And yours, and yours. And now for a little while, I'm going to put you all on pause. You should feel lucky. It's not often we get to do that. Sometimes it feels like our lives are going in fast forward. Or reverse. Or in slow motion. That's how it feels at the end of the summer, when it's 95 degrees and there's absolutely nothing to do. Yes, you should feel lucky I'm giving you this break, this 45-minute pause in your life so you can sit back and enjoy the play. The play, right, the play. Okay, I'm ready. Not very exciting, is it? Something is missing. Oh, thanks. All right, let's see. Think I got the wrong station. I think I rewound it too far. Let's take a look anyway.
Goo.
Yes, Goo. Say hello. This was the time when our parents thought it was time we try something daring.
There you are, you little cutie. Come on. Stand up. Stand up. Here, let me help you. Stand up. That's it. What a big boy. Don't cry.
And if this wasn't enough, then they wanted us to try even more dangerous stuff, like walking.
Come on. Walk to Mama. That's it. Come on. Keep going. Good. Yes, good. What a good boy.
We were so proud of ourselves.
That's it. Keep going.
Once we started walking, a whole new world was opened up to us. All those things we couldn't get at before were now suddenly within our reach. This is when curiosity began guiding our lives. We were always touching things, trying to figure out what they were.
Ow! Come on. Let go. Let go of Mommy's hair. Yeah, very funny.
The world around us provided any number of ways for us to get into trouble.
No! Don't cry. Mommy's only worried about you. You could get hurt if you tried to pull that television onto yourself. You silly boy. Now go play.
Did you ever wonder why it was that when Mom said go play, we automatically headed straight for the most dangerous thing in the house? For example, I bet every single one of us was just burning to know what was on top of that big white thing in the kitchen. It was this particular moment in our lives, touching a hot stove, that changed our lives. We probably don't remember it, but what happened that day stuck with us forever. Otherwise, we might see scenes like this every day.
Hi, Mom. I'm home. Math was really hard today, but I finally got it. We have this problem with... Ah! The thing is hot! Really hot! Oh, boy, is that hot!
But we don't do that because of that one day so long ago when we touched the stove for the first and last time. It's not something you soon forget. Yeah, these sure are handy little gizmos. Say, I wonder what it would look like if they didn't have any bones.
Very funny.
Yeah, he's a real crack-up, isn't he?
I gotta check that out in reverse.
Thanks.
Don't mention it.
Could we please get on with the play?
The play, right, the play. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to
Sticks and Stones.
a delightful theatrical entertainment designed for your edification.
Edification?
Yeah, he likes to use big words to impress the teachers.
designed for your edification and enlightenment. Sticks and Stones is a play about smoking
And drinking.
And drugs.
Boy, these cigarettes are great. I really feel cool.
Hello? Are you?
I think I'm gonna throw up now.
Like, wow, like 2 plus 2 is like 7?
Yes, sir. Smoking and drinking and doing drugs are just great.
Okay, wait a minute. 2 plus 2 is like, okay, 8.
Hold it. If smoking and drinking and doing drugs are so great, then how can we feel so lousy?
Has anyone, like, seen my brain anywhere?
Must be great. A lot of people do it.
A lot of stupid people. I mean, who would want to fill their lungs up with smoke or make themselves sicker or end up like him?
Have you seen my brain?
Why would anyone want to start these things?
That's what our play is all about. Now, there once was a boy, he was about your age. His name was Bobby. And he was a curious fellow. A curious fellow indeed. He wondered about all sorts of things. Why rain turns to snow, how a car engine works, why birds can fly, all sorts of things. But he was especially curious about fire. He used to sit and watch the logs in his fireplace burn for hours. What was this amazing thing? How did it work? The flames dancing before Bobby put him in a trance. One day, he found a match. Now, he knew he wasn't supposed to play with fire. Fire was something to be respected, and he did respect it, but he was also very curious as to what it could do. Finally, one day, his curiosity got the best of him, and he lit that match. And he touched it to a small piece of paper. The piece of paper began burning, and when the flames reached his hand, he dropped the paper. Wow! Which caught the carpet on fire, which caught the drapes on fire, which got the house on fire, and the house next to it, and the whole neighborhood, then the whole town, and pretty soon the entire United States of America was on fire, all because Bobby was curious about fire.
Oh, give me a break. There is no way I could have burned down the whole United States of America.
Okay, so I made that part up.
Oh, you made that part up. You think you're so smart just because...
I knew this would come in handy. Okay, so I exaggerated a little bit to make a point. You shouldn't play with fire. But I'm straying from the point. Do you see how curiosity can kill the cat? Allow me to illustrate. There once was a little girl named Jane.
Hi, Mom, I'm home. Where is everybody? Stinks in here. It smells like Aunt Carol's ears. Cigarettes. Yuck. Hi, Mom. Hi, Aunt Carol.
Your aunt left her cigarettes on the table.
Why does Aunt Carol smoke these things? Do you mind if I smoke?
Curiosity. Remember Bobby, the boy who burned down the whole country?
I wonder what it's like.
People have always wondered what it's like to fly, but you don't see people jumping off cliffs, do you? No. Why? Because it's stupid. That's why.
Mom will never find out. Surgeon General's warning. Smoking may be hazardous to your health.
Smoking has been known to cause lung cancer, emphysema, and stinky breath.
No way.
Now, if you were to let curiosity get the best of you just because you want to see what it's like, just look what could happen to you.
I wonder what it's like.
It's like jumping off a cliff. that's what it's like.
Oh, I feel so dizzy. This stuff tastes awful.
Now, from this day on, Jane began sneaking a cigarette here and there until she was 14 years old. Then she started smoking every day just to be cool. Pretty soon, she was smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day because she was hooked, addicted to nicotine. Now, this little habit she picked up cost her $4 a day, $28 a week, over $1,000 a year. It also cost her her health, all because she wanted to see what it's like. It's like jumping off a cliff.
No way.
All right. Be nice now. Please don't do that.
I asked you very kindly not to do that. It makes it look very silly in front of the kids, and there's one thing I don't want to look like.
Is an idiot. Thank you.
Don't mention it.
That's not a toy.
This is a story about Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry lived on the same street in a town very much like this one. They played on the same Little League team. They went to the same school, and they were even in the same 4th grade class. One day, Tom and Jerry were walking to school.
I don't get it. Why did they invent calculators if they don't even let us use them?
I don't know. Seems pretty stupid to me.
Did you do your long division homework?
Did you?
No, I started to, but I was using my calculator and all I got was the answer. It didn't tell me how to do the problem. Now, why do we have to know all this stuff anyway?
I don't know. I think it's some kind of torture. I mean, if we lose our calculators, we can always buy another one, right?
Yeah, right.
What are you going to tell Mrs. Alexander?
I don't know.
Wait a minute, Jerry. I got an idea. If we don't go to school, we don't have to turn in our homework, right?
What do you mean if we don't go to school? We have to go to school.
No, we don't. We could skip.
Skip school? Skip school? We can't skip school. Our parents will kill us.
Not if they don't find out.
They'll find out, and then they'll kill us.
How are they going to find out?
Are you kidding me? My mom knows if I leave a pair of dirty socks under the bed, she'll find out, and then I'm dead meat. No way.
What's the matter? Are you chicken?
Did you ever wonder when your friends want you to be as stupid as they are, they always ask,
What's the matter? Are you chicken?
No, I'm not chicken. I just don't want to end up dead.
Come on, we can get someone to write us a note for tomorrow saying we were sick.
You are sick.
Come on.
I don't know. What will we do all day? Where will we go?
We can go to my house. My mom left for work about 20 minutes ago. Come on, it'll be a blast. We can play Nintendo all day. Or would you rather go tell Mrs. Alexander you didn't do your homework?
No, I'll tell her I did it, but my dog ate it.
Oh, I'm so sure. That's the dumbest excuse I ever heard. Besides, you don't even have a dog.
Well, then I'll tell her your dog ate it.
Duh! Come on, just go to my house. We'll hang out all day and no one will ever know. Are you coming or not, chicken?
I don't know. Cut it out! Hey, Tom? Wait for me.
So Jerry, who's afraid of being chicken, really laid an egg. He decided not to go to school that day and listen to his friend Tom's advice. As a result, he never did learn long division. In fact, skipping school became sort of a game for him, and he started skipping more often. He never finished school, and what odd jobs he did manage to find didn't last long because he had a habit of skipping work also. And even when he died, he skipped his own funeral.
Get out of here. You can't skip your own funeral.
Okay, so I made that part up. Now get out of here.
Fair enough, what for that boy? Alpha Tote.
Okay, so he didn't skip his own funeral. I just wanted you to see how dangerous it is to do everything your friends tell you to. I mean, if your friends told you to, would you jump off a cliff? Of course you wouldn't.
Why is it then that we let people talk us into doing the stupidest things? For example, if Tom and Jerry had skipped school that day, they might be in Jerry's basement, quietly playing a game.
Bam! Your history!
Not yet. Bam, bam, bam.
Boom! No fair.
Yeah, fair, gotcha.
It's a dumb game anyway.
It wasn't so dumb when you were winning.
Yeah, well, it's dumb now.
Let's play again.
I'm tired of this dumb game.
Well, what do you want to do?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
Nothing.
You got any pop?
I don't know. Check the fridge.
Nothing in here but a bunch of beer. You got any pop upstairs?
Nah. If we had any, it'd be in there. Hey, do you have any at your house?
Oh, yeah, right. My dad, the dentist, always makes sure we got plenty of pop around to rot our teeth out.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Hey, we could drink a beer.
Yeah, sure. Let's get plastered.
You want to?
Want to what?
Get plastered.
Are you nuts?
No, really, have you ever drank a beer?
No. Have you?
Oh, yeah, lots of times. My dad used to give me some of his when I was a little kid.
Your dad won't let you drink pop and he gives you beer?
Well, no, not anymore. But when I was a kid, he did.
How much is in here?
A bunch.
Nah. My dad would know if some was missing. Plus, he'd kill me if he found out.
Is that the real reason you don't want to take one?
What? My dad killing me? That's a pretty good one.
Yes. But is it the real reason?
Well, no.
What is the real reason?
Because I just don't want to, that's all. Because I'm not old enough and I just don't want to.
Well, why don't you tell Tom that? Are you afraid he'll make fun of you?
No.
Well, then tell him.
Okay.
Your dad will never know if one beer is missing.
I don't want to.
Don't be such a baby.
Steve, he's making fun of me.
So?
So?
Yeah, so?
So what am I supposed to do now?
Are you a baby?
No, I'm not a baby. When I was little, I was.
So we called you a baby because you didn't want to do something. Did that hurt you?
No.
Remember, sticks and stones may
Break my bones, but names can never harm me. Right. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names can never harm me. Did you see what he did? He went...
So, did that hurt you?
No, but it was pretty gross. How would you like it if somebody came up to you and went...
I don't need another shower. Do you notice something here? Not once has Tom talked about what really is the issue.
Don't be such a baby.
People who are afraid will hide behind lots of things.
Chicken, baby, scaredy cat.
Is Jerry any of those things? Yes. No, he's not a chicken or a baby or a scaredy cat. What Jerry is smart. He may be sloppy, but he's smart.
I'm smart?
Sure,
Why?
because you're listening to yourself instead of Tom. Because you're doing the smart thing. Because you're doing the right thing. Your friends will tell you anything to try to get you to do things. Just listen to them.
Sissy, fraidy cat.
They'll call you names.
Joey Casino drinks beer all the time. He says it's great.
He'll tell you everybody is doing it.
No one will know.
That's a good one. No one will know. And another one of my favorites.
No one will ever find out.
Let me ask you something. If you got straight A's in school, would you want anyone to know about it? Sure you would. And if you hit the game-winning home run in the World Series, would you want anyone to know? Of course you would. Why? Because what you did was great. So, Jerry, let me ask you, why do you think Tom keeps saying,
No one will know. Because it's not so great,
bingo,
but he's my friend. I don't want him to hate me just
because you won't do something stupid? Is that a good friend? Someone who asks you to do something stupid? Something that could get you in trouble, make you sick, and make you ashamed all in one? Is that a good friend?
I guess not.
Let's run this ahead a bit and see what happens.
I told you. I don't care what he does. Joey Casino is stupid. He's always doing dumb stuff just to be cool. Yeah, like that time he smoked a cigarette during recess. What a dweeb!
Don't you at least want to see what it's like?
No, not really.
Not really. See, you really do want to try it, don't you?
No, I don't. And I don't think you should either.
Don't worry about me.
But I do. I don't want you doing something dumb. Hey, you know that old guy that we used to see once in a while? The guy with the old beat-up black hat?
Mean that old guy who's drunk all the time?
Yeah, that old guy who's drunk all the time. I don't want to end up like him. I don't want you to end up like him, all stinky and everything.
Get out of here. We won't end up like him.
How do you know?
No way.
You might.
No way. I'm gonna drink one.
Then get out of my house. If you're gonna do something that dumb, do it on your own property. Don't get me in trouble too.
What's it to you?
I don't know. You're my friend.
Yes. Some friend. Won't even try anything. I'm going home.
See ya.
What?
I said, see ya.
Oh, yeah. See ya. Hey, are you still gonna camp out in your yard tonight?
Maybe. Why?
I don't know.
You still want to?
Yeah, I guess so. You still want to?
Yeah! As long as we don't do anything dumb.
Nah.
Okay. I'll see you after dinner. We still have to set up the tent.
Hey, don't forget the pop. Is it all right with you if I rot my teeth out?
Sure. Your dad's a dentist.
Sticks and stones may break your bones, but pop will rot your teeth out.
Unless it's sugarless. Then it only makes you burp.
You're so gross.
I know. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, now, how does this thing work?
Hey, what's going on? Oh, brother.
Hello? Anybody home? Dada! How did you get there? Hey, this is really cool.
Yeah. You pointed that thing at yourself and hit pause. Be a little more careful with it, will you?
Careful, don't worry. I know how to use this thing. Watch.
Yeah.
Maybe the batteries are dead or something. Seem to work okay, but
I know how to use this thing. Watch. Hey, I got an idea.
hey, where did everybody go? Gosh! Wise guys, huh? You can sneak up on me, will ya? God! Will you cut it out?
May we proceed with the play,
Sure,
please?
as soon as I can figure out how this dumb thing works.
Let me see it.
You know, I don't know what's wrong with that stupid...
What is the holdup?
Technical difficulties. This thing is smarter than he is.
Let me see it.
Be my guest.
thing. I did you not! Ah! Stay where you are, you two!
What are we gonna do with him?
I've got an idea.
Sorry for the delay. We had some technical difficulties.
Yeah, that thing is smarter than he is.
Dumb thing. Ooh. Now, where were we? The play, yes! The play, right. Once there was a boy named Mike. Now, Mike lived with his parents and his sister in a nice house on a pretty street somewhere in a town just like this one. One day, Mike and his little sister Allison were playing quietly.
Don't move, Buster, I'll blow you away!
Oh, please, don't shoot.
Don't move, I said I got you covered!
You got me covered with your finger.
Allison, you can't move, you're dead!
No, I'm not.
That's true!
I'm not.
That's true, I shot you right between the eyes!
You can't shoot me because you don't even have a gun.
Well, if I did, you'd be dead. Dead, dead, dead.
Well, you done. So there.
If I did have a gun, she'd be dead, all right. Dead, dead, dead.
Now, Mike really didn't want to kill his sister. She just happened to be handy at the time. He loved guns, and he used to spend quite a bit of time practicing for the day when he got a real gun. On that particular day, Mike was more restless than usual. Summer was almost over, and he was as bored as he could be. As he sat there on that boring afternoon, wondering what to do, a thought hit him. Dad has a gun. He got up and went through his parents' dresser drawers. He knew his dad had a gun. He fired it into the air on New Year's Eve. Why did Mike like guns? His dad had one. Almost everybody on TV had one. The police all had one. It seemed like anybody who was anybody had one. But the real reason Mike wanted a gun of his own was because he had heard on TV that his favorite baseball player had one. He had gotten into trouble because he was driving around with one in his car. And Mike wanted to be just like him.
Whoa! Oh. Whoa, this thing is really heavy.
Star Trek's on.
Okay.
What have you got?
Nothing?
Liar. What's behind your back?
Nothing! Go away! I don't got anything.
If you don't got anything, then why is that drawer open?
I don't know.
Let me see. And tell Mom.
Wait! If I show you what I got, do you promise not to tell?
Maybe.
Do you promise?
What is it? Well, maybe, I said.
Look.
You're gonna get it so bad when Dad finds out!
If you tell him,
What are you gonna do? Shoot me?
maybe.
Doubt it. The thing probably isn't even loaded.
Bet you it is.
Bet you isn't.
Well, if it were, I wouldn't be afraid of anything. I wouldn't be afraid of...
I'm going to stop this before someone gets hurt. There is a very simple moral to this story. Don't play with guns! Actually, the moral of the story isn't about guns. It's about Mike. He thought that his favorite baseball player was the coolest guy in the whole world, and he wanted to be just like him, gun and all. Now you have to wonder, if his favorite baseball player jumped off a cliff, would he think that was cool too? Something! There. Now where was I? Oh yes, don't play with guns. Everyone knows that playing with a loaded gun is dangerous, right? There are other dangerous things that aren't quite so obvious. Take, for instance, the story of Justin and Lisa. Justin really likes sports. And one day it paid off for him when he got a scholarship to a university to be on the track team. His sister Lisa really looked up to him, and in fact wanted to be a track star herself. She couldn't wait for the day for Christmas vacation when she and Justin could go run together like old times.
How could you quit? We only ran a mile.
Just don't feel like it.
You should be running 10 times that far to get ready for the season.
Hey.
You used to run that far
my back, will you?
Relax. You've been so grouchy since you got home. And all you do is spend all your time up here in your room by yourself. Mom and Dad are beginning to wonder what's wrong. What's the deal?
Nothing's the deal. I just want my privacy. What's wrong with that?
Well, we just thought after 3 months you just might want to...
Might want to what?
Just spend some time with the family, that's all. You sure are coughing a lot. Are you sick? Maybe you should go see a doctor.
I don't need a doctor. The last thing I need is medical advice from a little twerp like you. Now beat it.
You were so different. What's wrong with you?
Why can't people understand? I just want to be by myself and relax. What's wrong with that? Wow, this is good. Really good.
Justin, we forgot the milk from the... What are you doing?
Nothing. Doesn't anyone around here knock?
Are you smoking?
Yeah, so?
It stinks. It doesn't smell like cigarettes.
You can leave now.
That's don't! Shh! You're smoking marijuana?
How would you know?
Well, we saw a movie about it in health class. You know, that stuff really messes you up.
No, it doesn't. It just relaxes you.
It messes you up. We learned that pot is 10 times worse than cigarettes. You know, that screws up your brain. Mr. Johnson says that's why they call it dope.
Who's Mr. Johnson?
My health teacher. And yours too, not that long ago.
Oh, yeah.
No wonder you've been coughing so much, smoking that stuff. You know, I thought you let me beat you this morning just to be nice.
Oh, give
but
me a
that's
break.
not the reason why you won. You couldn't even keep up with me.
I could beat you with both legs tied behind my back. Besides, there's nothing wrong with marijuana.
Except that it's illegal, and you're breaking the law. You know, you could go to jail for that.
Cops don't care. One time my roommate from college was at this concert. And,
And what?
what was I saying?
Your roommate from college?
My roommate?
Yes, your roommate.
What about him?
You are acting too weird. I'm getting Mom.
Whoa, no!
Why?
Because she'd kill me.
So if there's nothing wrong with dope, why would she care?
She just wouldn't understand. Hey, you want to try some?
You've got to be joking.
No, really, come on, just try a little bit. It won't hurt you. And then you can see for yourself.
Well,
Hey, would I steer you wrong?
Would he steer her wrong? Sounds to me like he's steering her right off a cliff. Now, Lisa has a big decision to make here. On the one hand, she's smart enough to know that marijuana is not only against the law, it's also extremely hazardous to your mind and body. On the other hand, she loves Justin and looks up to him a lot. Just what exactly is going to happen next? Well, that's up to you.
no. It's not up to them. It's not up to you or you or you or anybody. It's up to me. The choice is mine. And I say no. No.
What?
You heard me. I said no. I won't.
You never want to try anything.
That's not true. I want to try and do lots of things. I want to run as fast as I can every day. I want to keep my lungs healthy. I want my mind to stay sharp and clear. I want to obey the law. I want my parents to be proud of me. And more importantly, I want to be proud of myself. And I'm not going to let you or some stupid drug take that away from me. So there.
Well, there you have it. Lisa's made her decision.
Yes, I did.
Hey, you're frozen.
You can't control me.
But I
Yeah, she's right. You can't control her and you can't control me either.
This dumb thing.
You see, the only person you can control is yourself. It's your choice to stay healthy, safe, and smart.
Well, we hope you learned a little bit today about jumping to conclusions.
And jumping off cliffs.
No!
So remember, Sticks and stones may break your bones, but only
You can control you. Yeah. Don't let somebody else press your buttons for you.
What are we gonna do with it?
I don't know.
Excuse us.